Welcome. Oh my goodness. Welcome, my friends. This is your friend, your host, Dr. Neelam Rai. And today we have an amazing guest speaker, Dr. Grant. He'll be joining us live, but I have an exciting topic to help you to elevate your health, your spiritual practice. If you don't know me, this is Dr. Neelam. I'm the founder of I Bless Meditations and spiritual therapies that I help with other healers and spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to overcome their energetic blocks, their business blocks, in order to grow with their expertise. And so while Dr. Grant is joining us, meantime, I want to share a little bit about him. And let's see if I can put him here. So, Dr. Grant, he is a renowned expert in the fields of biofeedback. One of my favorite topics about since I am an intuitive teacher and healer. I talk about energy healings, holistic medicines. You're going to learn more about integrative medicine with Dr. Grant. And he is a world renowned expert in the fields of biofeedback. And I am so amazed by his accuracy, just like I do with the intuitive reading, with energy healings. He does it even a step further. He has a background in nutrition, toxicology, and microbiology. He is a best-selling author and holds several academy degrees. Oh my God, this guy is a walking, university. I would say he has, PhD. He's integrative medicine, a doctor, and all these others that you can see here, and as an educator, as a professor, a senior editor on multiple journals. You can just see the achievement, the caliber of his expertise. And he's also known as the friendly doctor who cares more about your wealth, your well-being, with the holistic approach. So I want he should be coming here pretty soon. So, meantime, if you're joining this live, come and share with me if you're a mother like me. And if you have preteen kids, this is some things that I have been navigating in, overcoming my own challenges in the last, I would say, good 9 to 12 months. I have two preteen boys, and I'm here in my 40s also with, a toolbox of resources to help navigate my own health challenges. But there's so certain things that our own primary doctors don't talk about. And that's why I would like Dr. Grant to share his wisdom, how to navigate on this hormonal health and bring his integrative approaches. So while we are waiting on him, I would like to share a little bit about how intuitively I was able to find I'm in the early stages of it's called perimenopause, something that our labs won't detect. And intuitively, I knew my body. So I like to, ask yourself if you're women in your 40s or even in your late 30s, and maybe you have passed this age, come and share how was that, early stages of menopause. And if you're also a mother like me, who, dedicated her first 30 years, trying to build, a career. So obviously we more and more women like me are having kids, late age, 30s, like I did. So what happens when we are in our 40s? Not only, our own hormones are fluctuating at the time, and now you're raising preteen kids, right? There is this hormonal, warfare going in the house. And I get to hear this from a lot of my women clients and students, where I give them a lot of other alternative approaches to manage that, so the three P's, now you can already know what I'm talking about, is, how do you maintain your peace as a busy mother or parent, and handle that, sensitive time. It's a phase, like it's a 10-year phase for women before they go into full blown, menopause, the perimenopause. The same thing with our preteens. Some of the kids, they start early, as young as I think 8 and 9, and it's not going to show, or your pediatrician's not going to tell your kids are going through this. I know I have some of my students who, a lot of counseling, spiritual healing counseling, because parents are looking for holistic approach. They don't want to put their kids on medications at an early age. So I've been hearing a lot of this in my, personal coaching. And let me see, he's trying to call me. So hang on my phone. Oopsie. Let me just pause myself here. All right.
Thank you.
Welcome, Dr.
Thank you.
Judge. I already did your introduction. Technologies can be funny
I know.
sometimes.
I know. I know.
Oh my God, I am so excited. Happy 2024.
Yes,
Where
same
did
to you, my dear.
2023
Wish you
days
all the
go?
best for you and your family.
Yes.
Happy, healthy, and wealthy New Year. Yes.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited. And you are the, I couldn't start this season of, holistic healings and health without you being my first, foremost mentor,
Thank you.
collaborator. I really look up to you. I have met thousands of people over the line, and
Thank you, my dear.
you are,
Thank you.
you don't only give, you give so much with love.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your precious time. And I did a long
Yeah,
introduction while we were trying to navigate this. But
wonderful. Okay.
today's topic is, I know we did not have any outline. While I was
Okay.
taking shower, I said, what is the most common question I'm getting from my students and clients?
Yes.
I can see them energetically where they're coming from. I can see in their body, like, being an intuitive wellness, and all those good stuff that I do. But you take it to the one step further. You are in that preventive medicine.
Yes.
You have, oh my God, a whole walking university with you. Carry the whole
Thank you.
um the whole energy medicine, the holistic vibrational medicine, integrative. You are all of
Thank you.
it, and
And
that's
by the
why I
way,
want.
I also admire you, and I admire your high energy, high vibration, and you're the best natural educator in healing, sciences that I've ever met in my career for 55 years. So
Oh
we
God.
have mutual. So let's not waste any more time. And you've got my bio, and then we'll talk about women's health, hormonal health for women. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes,
Let's talk about that. And
yeah.
go ahead.
I already did the long introduction of you while you were waiting, and of course we
Okay.
have so tell me, Dr. Grant, tell me a little bit, in one sentence about you, and we'll have some questions that I thought will not only help me, but thousands of women who are going to listen to this now and later. And if you guys are
Okay.
watching this live, please come and say hello to Dr. George,
Mhm.
and put your questions here. So go ahead, doctor. What got you into, you being you have such a diverse background also in medicine, right?
Yes.
What
Yes.
got you into integrative medicine? And then and I think this is the reason I need your expertise to help us, women like us who are now having kids around,
Yes.
raising preteens, and I'm in my 40s, and I came to you also intuitively saying, okay,
Yes.
something is out of balance in me. I know it, I can do only so much. So I came to you, and we were right on. You confirmed all my doubts.
Thank you.
So let me know about, how did you get into integrative medicine? What is missing in our healthcare system right now?
Thank you so much, Dr. Neelam, for inviting me. And it's all started at the age of 18 years young, when I lost my mom at age 45 years young from diabetes, heart disease, and blood pressure. So I learned not to become a victim, but to become a victor. That's what led me to study 3 bachelor's degrees, 3 master's, and 3 doctorate degrees to learn how can I focus on prevention, not intervention, self-care instead of crisis care. So that's what led me to study everything I needed to know, how I cannot be a victim from my genes and DNA from both parents and grandparents. So that's really the story in a nutshell. So I right now my focus in helping people to look at their health, not just from taking medications or waiting for operations or doing radiations, amputations, or any complications. I look at it from preventative point of view, holistically, because our body is almost like your car. If you give it the right fuel, it'll run. But if you add water instead of gasoline, the car will not run. So then how do we exist on eating the SAD diet, standard American diet? And instead of sad diet, I recommend the happy diet. And instead of fast food, I recommend the slow food in your kitchen. So I recommend every mother to cook like what we do here. Yeah, cook a food in your kitchen, the salads and the vegetables and the fruits and the seeds and nuts. Everything got created to make us healthy, not to depend on the fake food out there, the boxes and the cereal with high fructose corn syrup. Like, I wish every mother is as smart as Dr. Neelam to feed their kids a healthy food, not to put in the box lunch Coca-Cola and Pepsi and the junk food, because that is what kids becomes eating junk from the school lunches and so on. So my focus now is this. I don't want to have any teenagers losing their mom at half her age. Supposed to live to 75, 85, and my mom passed away at 45. My dad passed away in her early 60s. So I don't want to have any teenagers losing their parents from diabetes, heart disease. So if you look at the Academy of Wellness.com, Dr. Neelam, I'm sure you've been to my website many times. I had many clients who have reversed their diabetes. One of them, in fact, it was just like 6 months ago. His name is Jeremy Stone from Kentucky, and he had diabetes for 12 years. He's been taking 6 medications with absolutely no change in his blood sugar. His blood sugar, you would not believe this, Dr. Neelam, 400 plus. It's supposed to be under 90. And then he had no feeling from the knee down. So the doctor said, we got to do amputation. Otherwise, you're going to have gangrene and you will die. So when I met him, I said, okay, let's change your diet. I give him the academyofwellness.com. I told him the Q quiz, the IQ quiz that you've done before. And by the way, I tell your listener that your score was so high, I could not believe it, because you lead a healthy lifestyle. So his wellness IQ score was 33%. 33% means that he's not eating healthy at all. So today his wellness IQ is 88. His blood sugar drops from 400 plus to 86. He has continuous blood sugar monitoring in his body. And then he has regained his feeling from the knee down. His doctor canceled the amputation and he put in his file, no longer diabetic. This is what the lifestyle changes I want to help my clients to do. So I'm sure you have referred to me a few clients. And then if you know somebody in your hometown, in your state, across USA, across the world, who have diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, all of these can be handled and reversed and prevented naturally without the need for medications, operation, radiation, amputation, or any complications. So this is my focus. I did study allopathic medicine many, many years ago. I know everything to do with medications. I know everything to do with drugs and all of this stuff. But we only use drugs and surgery only when it's needed, not when you have diabetes, take medication for 12 years, your blood sugar is still 400. It does not make any sense to continue on the path after 12 years of unsuccessful management of diabetes. But when we change the lifestyle, his blood sugar dropped from 400 to 86. What can we learn from his story? And thousands of other diabetic and high blood pressure and heart disease stories. We can learn this. You can focus on what you eat, what you don't eat, and what's eating you for stress. And you're the best, educator in holistic health out there. And then you teach your clients to lead a healthy lifestyle like what I do. So we start for basic stuff with the IQ quiz. 10 questions. Everybody can do this in 2 to 3 minutes. And then we have the baseline. And then they can do their blood test. And then I have done for you the inner voice assessment test, which actually very accurate to a blood test. It's correlate to CBC blood test and MRI, PET scan, CT scan, ultrasound, X-ray, ECG, and EKG by 97%. And you've done it with me.
Absolutely. I just want to say,
yes,
my parents are now in their golden age years, and you talked about my grandfather was amputated. My dad had to leave school to take care of his farm back in Fiji. I hear every word doctor is saying, and this is so personal.
yes.
Even though today's topic is, we'll get to the hormonal health, but this is why I love your work, because had our parents, they had that issue. I mean, educators like you to help them, like my grandpa, spiritual teacher. He spent his entire life helping his community. But then his doctors, there was no one, because it's tropical island, right? You have shared in your speeches before the lifestyle. I mean, they think they were eating the healthiest organic vegetables, fruits, but then abundance of fruits also cause to diabetes. Like we know, the sugar in natural, food, especially mangoes, very common. And it could be also the stress, the underlying stress of being the, head of the household. Back then,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I'm just saying, that's why my focus here is to bridge the gap between spiritual health and also, science, the science and spirituality of meditation to help you with the mental health, the movement, the diet, exercise, the, ancient ways of cooking that, our families knew it. But still, why did my grandpa end up, like my dad lost his parents before he got married.
Yeah.
He was only 22. I think he was actually 20 years old when he lost his dad. And my grandma, I was only 1 year old. I never got to see my grandma. And people say I have her fire in me, but I wish I could see her. I can feel her energetically. I'm connected to them energetically, but I got never the time to got to connect with them, and I wish our generations now can live, me including, I want to live longer for my kids.
Yes.
And and the hormones. Let's go to the hormones. But I you were inspiring about the diabetic patient, how he was able to reverse his diabetes.
Yes.
Today marks January 23rd, 25 years ago. I migrated here for higher education. Migrated my entire family. My dad was not willing to come. I have a whole story next time. But, my mom was my age back then. She was, my age. and she was borderline diabetes. Guess what she was put on?
Metformin, glyburide,
Yeah.
insulin, fast acting, slow acting. It does not work. You got to change your lifestyle.
Guess
Nothing, no
what happened
medication.
last
Yeah,
year?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Dr.
Everybody
Neil, I
knows
agree with
about that.
you. And you obviously have same family history like mine. So our objective together here today is to help your listeners and clients to live healthy till reach the age of 100 and beyond. That is our focus. How? They're going to focus on their PMS. PMS. Nothing to do with the women's period. PMS stands for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So
Yes.
I'm going to focus on the physical and mental, and Dr. Neelam is going to focus on the spiritual because you're the spiritual guru. Okay. So
No.
between both of us, we can help our clients to reach their tip top shape physically, mentally, and spiritually. How? First, we assess their current PMS. How? Well, everybody does the CBC blood test, a blood test with their physicians anywhere in the world every year. So we take that as a baseline. And then we do also the wellness, the IQ test, the quiz, the 10 question that you've done before.
Mhm.
And you scored very high because you lead a very healthy lifestyle. I know you do drink the water. That's why you have a healthy skin. You do not drink soda. So we tell our teenagers switch from soda, the Coke and the Pepsi and Dr. Pepper and all of this stuff, and switch from fast food, the Burger King, Dairy Queen, and KFC to homemade food. Instead of fast food, go to slow food. Instead of sad diet, go to a happy diet. Do the wellness IQ and see what's your baseline. And then we test them to see what's their baseline here. Then after 3 months, we do the same thing again to see how much they improved following our lifestyle. Like when Jeremy had 33%, I told him, this is not very healthy score. 25,000 clients, Dr. Neelam, their average score is about 52, 53%. They're just barely surviving, not thrive. We cannot just survive. We have to thrive. We cannot be a survivors. We have to be a warriors. We have to be a thrivers. So I tell people, you know what? Just change your lifestyle, what you eat, what you don't eat, and what you drink, and so on. And this is what we need to do here. So detect the root cause of their challenge. If they have diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, just give me 3 months. We'll reverse all of this naturally. No need for medications, operation, radiation, amputation, or any complications. And once we do this, then God will bless us. We're building treasures in heaven. And that is what we need to do here. It's simple. Now, let's touch about hormones. What we have in our SAD diet today, Standard American diet, hormones everywhere. Cow's milk has bovine hormones given to cows that affect women's hormones, men's hormones, and kids' hormones and teenage hormones. And then the antibiotics added to cow's milk produce bacteria that is antibiotic resistant in our body that cause gut health problem. And then we have hormones in meat. We have hormones like it's called xenoestrogen, which is everywhere. In fact, we add pesticides to our food, and then this food produce xenoestrogen chemicals that actually compete with our natural hormones. So most of my clients, 99% of them, rinse their vegetables. I tell them, do not do this. You have to soak your vegetables for 15 minutes in warm water, a little bit of vinegar and baking soda, because soaking the vegetables will get rid of the pesticides, parasites, bacteria, fungus in the manure and reduce the toxic loads of these vegetables. Even if you buy organic, you still have 5% allowed by the government to add 5% of pesticides. So you gotta soak your vegetable, not rinse them. Okay, and then we have to switch from cow's milk, cheese, to nut milk like almond milk, coconut milk, cashew milk, rice milk, because in fact, I'm gonna tell you something right now, highly controversial, Dr. Neelam. You may not even believe what I'm about to tell you right now. Cow's milk cause osteoporosis. I have done research on this because it's very acidic in nature. And they tell you in the commercials, you have to drink 3 glasses of milk to have a stronger bones. That is not scientifically valid. If you drink nut milk, like almond milk, coconut milk, they have alkaline pH to make your bones stronger and then to prevent osteopenia and osteoporosis. So I tell my teenagers and tell everybody else, switch from cow's milk to nut milk. There's no hormones, there's no antibiotics, and there's not too much. The problem with milk is not the lactose, the milk sugar. It's the casein that causes mucus. So when you have somebody waking up in the morning and lots of mucus in their throat, that is from the casein, the milk protein. So I tell them, watch your body, listen to your body. Your body is your best doctor. I only have 3 doctorate degrees. I have only 3 masters. Your body have about 35 doctorate degrees. They can see what you're doing and then reflect on how you feel every single day. We're supposed to wake up with high energy like you, Dr. Neelam. If everybody's like you, it's like I call you the energizer, then everybody will be healthy. And then you have a good night's sleep, you drink the proper fluid. That's why you have a very beautiful, healthy skin. But if you start to drink soda, and if you eat the wrong food and the wrong fluids, you're going to end up with problem with your skin. It looks like a prunes, and then you go for Botox. That is not the answer. Please follow the natural way of doing things. Go to the Wellness IQ, academyofwellness.com. Complete the 10 questions, email your score to Dr. Neelam and myself. And then from there, we're going to go and help you out. We're going to help you out with the natural ways of reversing any problems. And then once we do the voice scan, you're going to have 250 pages of complete report, very accurate. Not a single physician in Canada or the US can go through all of the 250 pages report in 5 minutes visit, or CBC blood test, which give you only like 6 panels, which is, and by the way, when doctors test for cholesterol and tell you cholesterol is the most important marker, I totally disagree with that. Cholesterol is very important, unless if you have problem with LDL cholesterol, that's a bad cholesterol, low density lipoprotein. When it gets oxidized, that's when the problem happens. But from the cholesterol, we make our sex hormones. We make everything from cholesterol. Cholesterol is actually needed, but now the big pharma made cholesterol a bad thing, and then they want to actually introduce the cholesterol lowering drugs like Zocor, Lipitor. It's called statin. Statin has severe side effect on the liver. It destroys something important nutrients called coenzyme Q10. So anybody taking a statin, I tell them, please take coenzyme Q10, because if you don't take that, you end up with fatty liver, even liver cirrhosis that can cause problem with the liver, the gallbladder, and eventually the kidney and so on. And then you have liver failure, liver cirrhosis. So you know what? Knowledge is power, but applying knowledge is wisdom. It's really important to understand this holistically and then follow the prevention mode. And then we can now avoid any hormone imbalance in the teen years, in the preteen years. In fact, girls used to have the period starting at age 15, 16. I have seen now girls having period at age 11. They start very early. Why? Because they've exposed all of the hormones added to the
Or
fluids.
even 9 years
Oh
old.
my, this is dangerous, because if you start at 9 years, now can you imagine if they ever had sex at age 9 and they got pregnant at age 10, the uterus is not able to deliver the baby. There's not, they have to go through C-section. Like seriously, a pregnant woman at age 10, and then when she has a girl and then she becomes a pregnant, she's gonna be a grandmother at age 20. She's not even, she's a teenager.
Yeah, and
Seriously.
even the girls as young as 16 becoming mothers, and then
Yes,
you see
exactly.
this trend. I was so surprised when I migrated here earlier 25 years ago.
Yes,
Grandmothers, they look like their mothers, but
I
because
know. Exactly.
3 generation all getting kids at age 16, under age 18, under 20.
Yes,
So I mean, they look young, but I'm thinking, where is the education? Where is the
exactly.
education?
That is the key.
Where is
Education.
the education? So that's why I'm
Yes,
a big proponent of spreading the right knowledge. Please know
yes,
yourself. Hold on to
yes,
especially the media, the social media, the beauty industry, the standards that's set up there.
yes. I know.
And I mean, I don't want to even go into there, the way our kids dress.
Yeah,
Luckily I have boys.
yeah,
And I came from a very disciplined family, and even disciplined school. The cultures that we come from over
yes,
here, it's everything contributes, not only the food, the environment, the
yes.
constant distraction,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
Yes.
how can you of course, we're talking about hormones here, and I do, before I go on, we have Dr. from Pakistan, Mr. Wahid Ahmad, who We have known him. He has a 16-year-old daughter who has spina bifida. And, in fact, his case is so close to when 10 years ago, my doctors misdiagnosed me because of, extra chromosome that my son was carrying, that he's going to have all these health conditions or complications. So I used the holistic approach and, fired my doctors. And I was very lucky because I had the knowledge not to, dismiss, I mean, even, all the, famous priest, astrologers, doctors. I had the top of the line doctors here, the neonatal, specialists, everybody was pointing me to abort my child
Yeah.
at 6 months pregnancy. Of course, we have Stanford University, UCSF, all this fancy, institution. What my goal is to know your body. Like for me, I help women and, parents and even, leaders trust their intuition. Don't give your power away to others. So this Mr. Wahid's daughter, unfortunately, she has that physical condition. She's age 16. She is a promoter of, peace and women's empowerment. His question is, how can he improve if you have a condition? This is a little different than the hormones we're talking about. But if somebody is already, I'm putting this question on the screen here for you, Dr. Grant.
Yes.
How can we help her if somebody is already, for example, my case is different. I'm going to go to my
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff. But for his question, she's a beautiful young lady, and we have heard her speeches. you know
Okay.
um,
The answer, Dr. Neelam, is very simple. Spina bifida can be reversed naturally taking methyl B complex, because methyl B complex has folate and folic acid to prevent spina bifida. And do not buy any B complex from Walmart or Amazon, because you pay about $10 or
yeah,
$20, yes, for any one of the B vitamins. So you pay for B1 10, and then B1 thiamine, B2 riboflavin, B3 niacin, and then B6 pyridoxine, and then you go on to B12, and it has to be methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin, because cyanocobalamin has cyanide, and then you have to have folic acid. So you can buy all of this combined together in a supplement called methyl B complex, and it sells only for $9 for the whole B complex, and that prevents spina bifida. So you got to know this. I've written 20 books on the topic of natural supplement. It's not what you take, it's how much you absorb. So spina bifida can be simply reversed by taking, the methyl B complex to prevent spina bifida and any of these conditions. But it's not what you take, is how much you absorb. So the things that I take myself has 95% absorption, and instead of the stuff that you buy like one a day and Centrum, it has only 5%. And by the way, Dr. Neelam, if you know some woman who's pregnant, tell them not to take Materna. Materna has red color number 40, yellow color number 3. It's called tartrazine. These colors are bad for the mom and bad for the baby as well. And they only have 5% absorption. Same with Centrum, same as they artificial flavor, artificial colors, and then they not absorb only 5%. I take something all natural, all organic. If any clients wanted to know what's the best way to take that, write me at theacademyofwellness.com. My email, Dr. Neelam, is very simple, drgrantwellness@gmail.com, which is on the website, because it's not what you take, is how much you absorb. So I tell my clients, if you wake up in the morning, you feel groggy, tired, you cannot sleep at night, you're irritable, you're missing the B complex, you're missing folic acid. And lack of folic acid can cause spina bifida, and it can cause babies deformation, and especially if they have family history of that from their parents and grandparents. So, could you believe that 95% of my clients, Dr. Neelam, do not drink the H2O. They prefer to drink soda, coffee, alcohol, and energy drinks. So I tell my clients, your body made from 70% water, not 70% Coke or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper, okay? And then the other 95%, they do not know how to breathe properly. You got to breathe not from the chest, from the belly. Deep belly breathing. You can call it deep belly breathing. You can call it yoga breathing. You can call it diaphragm breathing. You can call it anything you want. But shallow breathing does not give you enough oxygen to the brain because you have the rib cage. The rib cage cannot expand, but the belly can expand. So I want everybody who are listening to us, men's and ladies and youngsters, learn to do 5 or 10 belly breath, which I do recommend on my website, academyofwellness.com. And you should drink half your body weight in ounce of water. So I do this religiously every single day. I make sure that I drink at least 2.5, 3 liters per day. So, and then I add a little bit of lemon, a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it. This kind of practice detox your body naturally, and then you focus on your prevention, not intervention, self-care instead of crisis care. That way we can avoid any of this stuff. So water, belly breath, and then avoiding any serious medical procedure for women, especially mammogram. Mammogram, applying X-rays to the breast, is very dangerous because we're supposed to protect the thyroid and the thymus from the X-ray women subjected during the breast exam with X-ray. It's just like going to your dentist. When you do dental X-ray, they put a lead apron from here down here, and the technician goes outside the room. So then why, when they do the mammogram, they do not protect this part, the thyroid and the thymus? So that's why women have overactive thyroid nodules, thyroid cancer, thymus cancer, which makes T cells and NK cells, like basic common. So they tell me, what do I do if I don't do mammogram? Well, you can do the AO voice scan. You can do ultrasound, but some physicians do not do ultrasound until they do mammogram first. But if they find something wrong with a mammogram, then they do ultrasound. So mammogram is X-ray, ultrasound is sound waves. Why don't you just do sound waves then? Just do ultrasound. Why would they, like, seriously, think about it like logically, okay? So over, diagnosis with all of this stuff here does not make any sense. And then
I want to pause here, and you made such a great point, Dr. Grant, that so much emphasis is put into assessments and testings. Like my dad, of course, he's now pushing towards his 70, and his whole lifestyle changed because mom's heart, open heart surgery. It was emergency heart surgery.
Yes.
99% heart blockage. We are in Silicon Valley. The top doctors are here.
Yes.
And my sister is an RN, and they thought they were going by medicine. And I used to send her healings every day. That thing, my mom said, saved her. Not because it was me, it was because I was holding this healing space. But I kept questioning, why wasn't she getting any, relief? It helped her to come out of that. The doctors were shocked. How is she surviving? 99% blockage.
Here you go. Okay.
And this is also, again, this is accumulation of 25 years of taking diabetes medications, leading
that's the whole
kidney
point.
failure, heart failure. Yes.
You can see this here. You can see how many medication they put on the 79-year-old. Can you see this here?
Yeah, you showed me that. Yes.
28, 2 bypass, 2 stents, 99% clogged. He's 79. In 1998, they told him we cannot do anything. We sent him to hospice because we cannot add at 79 any more meds or any bypass.
Right.
6 months later, no meds, no bypass, no stents, 50% open. 1999, he's now 80. He's still alive today, Dr. Neelam, at 102. Like, okay, so everything can be reversed, even 99%. So the whole point is this. You see, if Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity, keep doing whatever you're doing and expecting different results. So he kept adding this medication for 20 plus years, and he's still clogged. He still have angina. He still have tachycardia. He still have arrhythmia with 28 meds. Okay, so you got to change the approach. You got to find something else. And instead of just adding meds, it's just like the Jeremy Stone story that I want you to watch the video on my website, because he had only very short 3 minutes video on the website, how I help him to reverse his diabetes from taking all of the 6 medications and avoiding his amputation. And I got thousands of stories like this in my 55 years career. You know what, Dr. Neelam, it's all down to by focusing on prevention, not intervention, self-care instead of crisis care. And that's how we're going to live longer, not over-diagnosing, not over-assessment. We can do natural voice assessment, which is proven in science to be very accurate. 0 side effect, 0. So there's no radiation, and it just gives you a complete, as you've experienced it yourself. And then people have to slow down and smell the roses. And then it's just life is not just working for 8 9 hours a day. You take 1 hour to go to work, 1 hour to come back in a rush hour commute, and then you go home, and then you have your dinner, and you sit down and watch TV, and then you're gonna go like this. That is not life. That is surviving. It's just you're existing. You're not living, right? But if they follow us and then they have a retreat in Fiji or one of those Caribbean countries, they would love it, right? I mean, why not? Why not enjoy life while you're living here, make it the best out of it? So that's really it's a very simple prescription how to live longer and healthier without depending on the primary medications, operation, radiation, amputation, or any complication. That's my theme for today.
You answered the questions that I had on my list to ask you.
Yes,
Integrative medicine and supplements, doctor. You shared about that.
yes,
And understanding the symptoms, understanding your body. Like,
yes,
I mean, there is no one person is, even the twins are not same, right? We all are changing differently. For me, I was telling my kids, talk about the signs of puberty. What
yes.
happens during puberty? If you can just tell me in few minutes, and then what happens during perimenopausal stages.
Okay,
I mean, these are two different hormonal changes and very
yes.
delicate phases of life.
All right. So usually women, young girls start puberty around age maybe 12 and 13. It used to be 15, 16. Now it's, as you mentioned, 9 or 10. So whenever they start this, there's a hormonal change, estrogen,
Mhm.
progesterone, and gonadotropin hormones in their body. That's when they start to get the period. Now, young girls have to watch their period. Young adults have to watch their period. It's supposed to be the color is bright red, not dark, and it's not supposed to have any clotting. Any clotting can indicate uterine fibroids or ovarian cysts. Some women have something called PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, and some women have fibroids from the hormones that we talked about, the pesticides, the parasites. And by the way, I tell my clients do not eat raw fish like sushi because it has lots of parasites. And then you want to avoid polycystic ovary syndrome by avoiding any hormones. As I mentioned before, you want to avoid uterine fibroids by also avoiding the hormones. You're going to watch your diet. So that's very important. So if you want to eat meat, make sure this with no antibiotics and no hormones. If you want to drink milk, drink nut milk instead of cow's milk. All cow's milk has hormones and antibiotics. So you want to avoid that. And then once you go into early perimenopausal, usually starts at age 48 to 52. So this is when the women start to have irregular period, and then they start to have kind of lack of desire because now their estrogen is very low, progesterone is very low, and some physicians start to give them hormone replacement made from the synthetic ways. In fact, some of them are made from the horse urine.
Oh my goodness.
Like it's if you take any xenoestrogen like that, unless if you're planning to compete in the Kentucky Derby, uh, then go ahead and take that. But if you want to live healthy, do not take any synthetic hormones. There's something that I recommend for my clients to do is called bioidentical hormones, identical to the body. So bioidentical estrogen, bioidentical testosterone, which is a male hormone that gives a woman a desire again. Because women, when they reach menopause, I call it menopause, they have lack of desire and they have hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness. This is all common. Everybody knows about the symptoms for perimenopause and also full menopause. Women can actually live healthy till age 75 with normal desire, no hot flashes, no night sweats if they follow all of the natural food diet that I'm talking about. In fact, there is some women in Northern Europe, they can still become pregnant in their mid 60s and early 70s. You've heard so many cases like this before from the Balkan countries. Why? Because they eat a healthy diet and they drink the water from the mountain that's full of minerals and they're so healthy. Like, can you imagine a woman in America having a child in mid 60s or early 70s? Well, I've never seen one yet who had that. Like in North America is rare, but in Northern Europe is very common. And some countries like Japan also. So all you got to learn from this, look at the blue zones. People in Okinawa, Japan. People in Loma Linda in California. people in Costa Rica and Greece and Italy, Sardinia, Italy, and Okinawa, Japan, we call it the blue zones because these are the people that live till the age of 100 healthy without depending on medications, operation, radiation, or amputation. Why? Because they lead a healthy lifestyle. So why don't you make your hometown a blue zone by making your internal body healthy? So take care of some people take care of their cars, Dr. Neelam, more than their body. But imagine if you put in your car the wrong fuel one day. Let's say the gas prices went skyrocketing and we cannot afford to buy gas anymore. And instead of gas, you put water. Well, the car is not going to run. So how do you expect the body to run on fast food, on pesticides, on all of the crap that they drink? It's healthy bodies, healthy mind, healthy souls, healthy cars, healthy fuels. Fuel for your body. You got to watch your car. You got to watch your body more than your car. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It does so much because not only I'm not even 48, I'm in my 40s now,
By the way,
but I know my
you
body's
look
going to
38.
change.
Dr. Neelam, your skin looks
Oh
38, 10
my
years
God,
younger.
I'm 45. I'm 45. So, and I am dealing, you're so nice. um, so my sons are 10 and almost 13 in 2 weeks. My son will be 13. So what we are discussing is very personal to me too. And this is something the pediatricians, my, OBY doctor, my PCP, they will not discuss all these things. And that's why I'm sharing this with you guys here with Dr. Grant, who has, how many students you have worldwide, Dr. Grant?
It's about
25,000?
it's 10,000, but
10,000 now, but you
I'm,
have helped over 25,000 people.
25,000 clients in my 55 years
Yeah.
career. I'm currently 73, and if God give me another 27 more years, I'll be 100. And nobody in my 10 generations lived even beyond
And
65. So
well, God bless you with, we need doctors like you who gives
thank
us
you,
the whole
thank you.
approach to wellness.
Yeah.
And my one question, my personal question is, okay, so even though I have all this holistic toolbox with me,
Yes.
but, there's some things with genetic factors that affects your, hormones.
Yes.
For example, premature hair loss or,
Yes. Yes.
hair graying. And I do deal with fibroids because my mom had really bad
Yes.
bleeding issues,
Yes.
and unfortunately I'm dealing with that and all those the symptoms you were talking about,
Yes.
and it's coming sooner than even the labs can detect.
Okay, so if you want to have a good, healthy hair, you have to watch your thyroid, because if you have a healthy thyroid, you're gonna have a nice, healthy hair. Most people, if they ask them, do you have cold hands, cold feet, and you find them hair strands when you take a shower, I would say 50% of my women that I see, they have that. So I tell them to take like seaweeds, like sea kelp or iodine to support your thyroid. And that way
Okay.
you're gonna have a good, healthy hair. Nobody needs a wig when you are in your 50s or 60s.
Right.
And everybody should have a nice, like beautiful hair like yours, Dr. Neelam,
Oh
nice
my
long
God.
hair, and so on. So it's all simple by taking care of your thyroid and also your thymus, the immune system that makes
Right.
T cells and NK cells. And also, you got to watch also any xenoestrogen, as I talked about before, any foreign hormones, any pesticides, parasites, fungicides, and bacteria, and all of the stuff that can affect our healthy body, our healthy hair. Because the hair is a sign, like I'm 73 and I still have some hair. In fact, some of my colleagues are in 65 to 70, they lost their hair already. So the key is it doesn't matter how bad is your DNA or how bad is your genes. Dr. Actually, Bruce Lipton said it's not your genes, it's not your genetics, it's epigenetics. Is how you turn your bad genes off and the good genes on. So you got to learn about epigenetics, and that's the only device in the world that tests your DNA, telomeres, and your chromosomes to see how healthy is your body and how healthy is epigenetics. Even if you had bad parents, I've never seen my grandparents. They died in their mid 50s. I never seen them. So even if you had bad parents and bad grandparents like me, I still have some genes that I actually canceled out the bad ones and I turned on the good ones, like Dr. Bruce Lipton was the father of epigenetics. So this is how we're going to be living healthy, like the blue zones. You don't have to travel to Okinawa, Japan, or you have to travel to Loma Linda. But if you watch what people eat at Loma Linda in California, they eat mostly vegetarian meals. they do not eat that much meat, or they do not drink cow's milk, and then they actually do not use any medications. They always lead a healthy, holistic lifestyle. But by the way, I do have great respect for the pharmaceutical industry, because we need medications for emergency. We need medical doctors for emergency, and so on. But we do not need somebody to tell us take blood pressure medication, diabetes medication for the rest of your life until you die. That is not a proper pharmacology. That is, in fact, toxicology. I study both fields. And by the way, I do work with Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, and Harvard Medical School in the International Pain Conference in Chicago. So I have nothing against this clinic. However, if you look now what Cleveland Clinic is doing right now in Ohio, 90% they focus on functional medicine, gut health, how the gut health affect the brain health, immune system health, 10% Western medicine. Harvard now have a residency for doctors. When they finish their medical school, they go into IM, FM, LM. IM integrative medicine, FM functional medicine, LM lifestyle medicine. Within 5 years, we're going to have to graduate the first Harvard graduates. They're going to be focusing on IM, FM, LM. The whole medical industry is going to be turned upside down once these people graduate, because everybody knows Harvard is the best medical school in the whole world, right? I'm graduated from the University of Toronto, which is Harvard of the North, but University of Toronto has the best university in Canada, but still Harvard has the best medical school in the whole world. But 5 years from now, we're going to have the first graduate with IM, FM, LM. Watch, Dr. Neelam, what happened now in 2029, when the first batch of these doctors graduate. The whole industry now is going to be focused on IM, FM, LM. It's not going to be a secret. It's not going to be a household word anymore. It's going to be the trend. And that is what we're going to expecting here within 5 years. So that prevention is always much better than intervention, self-care instead of crisis care. Of course, if I fall down and I break my leg, I'm not going to take ginseng. I'm going to go to a physician and put a cast on my leg. So we need emergency medicine doctors. But we do not need somebody to tell us, take blood pressure medication for the rest of your life, and take diabetes medication for the rest of your life, or take hormones when you reach menopause from the horse's urine. Thank you very much. I don't need the horse's urine for my wife. I don't need that. Okay, so there's bioidentical hormones. We can give them natural progesterone, natural thyroxine, thyroid hormones, natural testosterone to give them the desire back again. And there's some actually women in their mid-60s, mid-70s, they still have desire, no hot flashes, no night sweats, and they don't even experience menopause. If you don't understand what I mean.
Thank you so much, doctor, because I know we talk so much about functional medicine, integrative medicines, and I think a lot of people, even in the spiritual community, in the holistic healing communities, a lot of people have all these amazing tools which is talking about spiritual health.
Yes.
And I always focus about your mental, emotional, and physical, but most importantly, understand that as we age, as we grow, even more healers that needs natural supplements. I hear a lot in the spiritual healing community that, oh my God, I've been doing this for 30, 40 years, but now I feel depleted. Why are they feeling depleted? Because our body is getting through changes, right?
Yes.
And nobody wants to talk about what they do to maintain it. Everybody's sharing their modalities, or
Yes.
the coaches are selling their strategies. Look at me, how I make $1 million. I see in the spiritual communities, take this modality. I think the misconception is that how do you make it more integrated? How can we trust? So we are hearing from the doctor who talked about meditation, belly breathing. We talked about, I have studied health coaching,
Yes.
functional medicine myself, and I talk about spiritual health also, the missing therapies. Spiritual therapy is all about how you respond to all these things and taking the power back. And by knowing your body, it's so important. And Dr. Grant, thank you so much for your time. I just want to quickly wrap this up.
Yes.
We talked about today, the importance of, understanding your body, the natural ways, and we talked about PBT, a little bit on hormones, and then the importance of supplement and the PCOS, and it's, even if you have a bad genetics, you can still, you can reverse that, just like Dr. Khan talks about reversing diabetes in his patients. or reversing blood pressure.
Yes, absolutely.
And then that's our cue that doctor's time is up. He is a busy man, as you can see, but I will share doctor's link here. And if any questions, please feel free to post here. And I highly recommend to get this bioscan. And it's the most comprehensive results you will get, that your blood test won't find it out. And I want to share that I don't recommend doctors, but I trust Dr. Grant with all my heart and soul here, because intuitively I can tell. I mean, I know who to trust, right? Most people don't know who to trust. They have lost faith in trusting their doctors, or even pharmaceuticals, or even we have so many different coaches and healers in the world, but many of them are sick.
Yes. Yes. You know what, Dr. Neelam? I wish every woman in the USA to be like Dr. Neelam, because you feed your kids in their school lunches a healthy meals. You do not put soda. You do not put any junk food in their boxes. Why don't every woman across USA and across Canada do the same thing? Why? Like, everybody loves their children. Why would any woman put some toxic food and toxic drinks for their kids' lunch? Seriously. I mean, like, I can't understand, because if we start with having sick kids, and then we're going to have basically sick young adults and sick adults. And that's why diabetes now is almost affecting 45% of the population in America. We need to eradicate diabetes and obesity. Look at how obesity in the teenage years for our kids in school, because what they eat in the lunch. Like, why don't every mother be like you, Dr. Neelam? Why don't you educate every mother to put proper healthy food, at least just H2O, water, for the kids, and then healthy meals, and instead of junk food. So I pray that everybody will be like you. And then when they are in your late 30s, early 40s, you still have healthy skin, you look 10 years younger, and then you're going to age very gracefully. That's the whole idea, is that you can reach the age of 100 without any complication, without any medications, operation, radiation, and amputation. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Grant, for your precious time and your enlightening, education here. I mean, you picked all the right answers before I could even question it. That's how in tune we are. And I think we're catching back after 18 months, but exactly. Yes. I'm picking up the questions for what women are asking me, and here you're answering me without me asking you the questions, because you've seen this. This
Thank
is
you
happening.
So much. Yes.
And I highly recommend everybody to reach out to doctors, wellness assessments. And then highly recommend the bioscan. I know, doctor, you have been recommending me to start promoting that to my students, but you, the pro, I'll refer them to you. And the spiritual health piece, and then of course the other piece I can handle. You help them with the preventive care. I think
we'll do that
together. We can really educate our audience.
Absolutely.
And I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Truly, from the bottom of my heart. And if anybody has any more questions, please, send your information here. Post your question. No question is small or big enough to answer, or if you're shy to ask any personal question, please direct message me. I'll forward it to Dr. Grant.
Thank you.
As you can say, he's a busy man, but he took his hour of precious time. This is worth thousands of dollars, guys. Please come back and listen. And thank you so much, Dr. Grant.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neelam. Thank you. God bless you. Take care.
Miss you. Bye.
You're the best. Thank you.